Today I'm gonna talk about the derivative of composite function, the application of chain rules twice. We're gonna focus on the trig function. Now let's take a look at the following formulas. The first formula is about chain rule. Derivative of capital F, little fx equals the derivative of capital F, fx times the derivative of little fx. And here the capital F can be any trig function. Okay, can be any trig functions. For example, if capital F is sine, then the derivative of capital F gonna be cosine. If capital F is cosine, then the derivative of capital F is negative sine. If it's tangent, then the derivative of capital F should be secant square. Okay, so the second formula is standard power rule, and there is a special case. The derivative of x equals 1, and the third one is constant multiple rule, and I also list the derivatives for 3 trig functions. Now let's take a look at the first example. As we can see, for the first example, we can easily tell what is capital F. That is sine. And what is little fx? That should be tangent to x. So we have little fx equals tangent to x. Now we can follow the formula here. So here capital F is sine. That means the derivative of capital F gonna be cosine. So we have cosine, and fx, that is tangent to x. And times the derivative of little fx, so it should be derivative of tangent to x. Okay, now let's focus on the last term. For the last term, we can see what is the capital F. Capital F is tangent, and what is the little fx? That should be 2x. Okay, 2x. So we can write down the fx equals 2x. Now we're gonna copy the first term. We have cosine tangent 2x, and here since capital F is tangent, then the derivative of capital F should be secant square. So we have secant square fx, that is 2x, times the derivative of fx, so that should be a derivative of 2x. And as we can see here, we can apply the constant multiple rule. Here's a constant. We can pull these two out of the derivative. Cosine tangent 2x secant 2x squared times 2 times x prime. Okay, and we know the derivative of x equals 1, so here just 1. So 1 times 2 is 2. So now we can simplify it, and the answer should be 2 cosine tangent 2x times secant 2x squared. Now let's take a look the second example. The second example, we can tell what is capital F. The capital F is cosine. What is little fx? That is sine 3x. So we can follow the formula here. I can write down the letter fx here for the clarity. Okay, so derivative of capital F gonna be negative sine. Okay, cosine negative sine. So we have negative sine and fx, that is sine 3x, and times the derivative of letter fx. So we have this guy. Okay, and now let's take a look the second term. For the second term, we can easily tell what is capital F. That is sine. What is little fx? That is 3x. Okay, again we can use the chain rule. Negative sine 3x, and here capital F is sine. Derivative of capital F gonna be cosine. Cosine fx is 3x times the derivative of fx, that is 3x. Okay, again we can apply this constant multiple rule, because here it's a constant, right? So we can pull the 3 out of the derivative. We copy the first 2 terms, and here we can be 3 times x to the x prime. Okay, x prime equals 1. Okay, so we're gonna get negative 3 sine 3x cosine 3x. Now let's take a look at the last example. For the last example, we can tell what is capital F. That is tangent. And what is the letter fx? That should be x squared plus cosine 2x. Okay, and now we're gonna use the chain rule. Capital F is tangent, so the derivative of capital F gonna be secant square. So we have secant square, and fx is x squared plus cosine 2x, and times the derivative of little fx. And now here for the second term, we can tell here is the derivative of the sum of 2 functions. That means we're going to do the derivative for each function. Okay, now we're going to do the derivative for the second term. Copy the first term. And for the second term, we can split these two functions and do the derivative for each term. Okay. Now let's focus on the two functions here. And as we can see, for the first term, x squared, derivative of x squared, we can use the power rule. How about the second term? For the second term, we can tell that capital F is cosine, and the little fx is 2x. Okay, we can use the chain rule again. So we put the little fx equals 2x. Now we can simplify it. Secant x squared plus cosine 2x squared. And for the first term, we apply the power rule. So it should be 2x to the power 2 minus 1. For the second term, we apply the chain rule, cosine. So the derivative of cosine gonna be a negative sign. So we have negative sign. We can put negative here and put a negative sign here. So fx is 2x and times derivative of fx, derivative of 2x. Okay, and again for this term, okay, for this term 2x prime, we can apply the constant multiple rule. We can write this guy as 2 times x prime. Okay, now we can continue to simplify it. Secant x squared plus cosine 2x squared, and here we can simplify it, 2x minus, and here, so here after we apply the constant multiple rule, 2 times x prime equals 1, so it should be 2. Okay, so it should be 2 sine 2x. Okay,